From Beavercreek, the challengers from Kettering, Ohio. Let's meet the challengers. First of all, to my right, Kettering Alter High School. Introduce yourselves, guys.
I'm John Powers, senior.
John?
I'm Jin Chang, I'm a senior.
Jin?
John Abley, I'm a junior.
John?
John Secor, I'm a senior.
All of you from Alter, good luck and welcome tonight. Beavercreek High School, you were here last week, you're back again. Good luck to you. Introduce yourselves.
Chip Hardwick, I'm a senior.
Chip?
Kelly Hammett, I'm a senior.
Kelly?
Rob Wesley, senior.
Rob?
Wu Chun Fang, senior.
All of you from Beavercreek, welcome and good luck to you on your second try. We're glad to have all of you. Let's have you meet the judge of our program as always, everyone. He's Dr. Tom Wits, who's a professor of English at Wright State University and the director of writing programs there and author of the recently published book, Away with Words. Here are the rules briefly of our show. Each student has in front of him a selection of category. Each category is divided into two parts. The first part of the category is called the qualifier, which is not at all scored for points. It just qualifies the team to answer the second part of the category, which is for points. If they miss the qualifier, that enables the opposing team to have a chance to capitalize if they can answer the question correctly. Each team has 5 seconds in which to give a complete answer, and in the event of a double answer, the first answer that we hear given is considered the official one. All right, all the prelims out of the way. We flipped a coin before airtime as always, and Kettering Alter won the toss, so they're on my right side, the home team side. Let's begin round one of tonight's As Schools Match Wits with category selection and John Powers. John?
Number 12, sports.
12, sports. Here's the qualifier, guys. This NFL team finished up their 1983 season playing in Sullivan Stadium. Name the NFL team.
New England Patriots.
That's correct. Schaefer Stadium was renamed in June of '83 after its owner, Billy Sullivan. You're right, the New England Patriots. For points now, from stadium names to nicknames of sports stars of yesteryear in all sports. 5 points for each you identify. Number 1, the Manasseh Mauler.
Jack Dempsey.
That's correct. Number 2, nice and loud for me now, John. Number 2, Little Mo, 1950s tennis star.
Conley.
Except Conley? That's correct. Maureen Conley. That's right. Number 3, the Sultan of Swat.
Babe Ruth.
Right. And number 4, the Flying Finn in track. That's a tough one. Pavel Nurmi. But you got 15 points on the board. You're first on the scoreboard, Alter. Over to Beavercreek and Chip Hardwick. Chip?
28, sports, please.
Another sports category for Beavercreek this time. Steamer is the most logical nickname for this Boston Red Sox pitcher, both because of his last name and his pitching velocity. Name this ace reliever for the Boston Red Sox.
Bob Stanley.
Bob Stanley. Stanley Steamer, an old car. Get it right for points now, guys. From a pitcher to pure hitters in the American League, all of whom played in the past 1983 season. 5 points for each hitter, who is considered by many sports pundits to be some of the most natural hitters today. Number 1, infielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. Initials R.Y.
Robin Young.
Right. Number 2, slugger for the Baltimore Orioles. E.M.
Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray is correct. Number 3, high average third baseman for Kansas City. George Brett is correct. And number 4, multiple batting average champion, now with the California Angels, R.C. Well done, Beavercreek. 20 points on the board. Back over to Alter and Jen Chang. Jen?
26, general knowledge.
The category is general knowledge. Here's the qualifier, Alter. On July 4th, 1802, this U.S. military academy opened in what New York State locale?
West Point.
West Point is correct, guys. Now for points. On July 4th, 1826, 2 of our early U.S. presidents died. Name each for 10 points apiece.
Jefferson.
That's correct.
Adams.
Well done. 20 points, Alder. You got them both. Back over to Beavercreek and Kelly Hammett. Kelly?
Number 17, science.
The category is science. Here's the qualifier. What aspect of the human body do you think of when you hear such terms as the scapula, clavicle, and ulna?
Throat.
That's incorrect. Can you capitalize, Alter?
The bones.
Wrist was the first answer I heard. Will you accept wrist? No. In the arm, skeleton, bone. That was correct, though, but we can't accept that because the first answer we heard was wrist. We stay with Alter, though. Would have been your turn anyhow, and John Abley. John?
Number 18, U.S. government.
U.S. government. Here's the qualifier, guys. What U.S. document in its preamble begins, "We the people of the United States"?
Constitution.
The Constitution. Now for points, Alter. Which of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution apply in each of these cases? Merely give me the correct amendment number for your answer for 5 points apiece. Number 1, the right to keep and bear arms.
Second.
That's the second. Nice and loud, John. Number 2, the right against unreasonable searches and seizures.
Fourth.
That's right. The 4th. Number 3, the right to a speedy and public trial.
5th.
That's incorrect. The sixth. And number 4, the powers reserved to the states or people when not constitutionally delegated to the U.S. nor prohibited by it to the states.
8.
No, that's the 10th. That's the 10th. But you got 10 points on the scoreboard, Alter. We go back over to Beavercreek and Rob Wesley. Rob?
Number 11, literature.
The category is literature. Here's the qualifier, gang. This novel, Resurrection, has served as the basis of some 10 films and 1 opera. Its Russian author also wrote Anna Karenina. Name him.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky is incorrect. Can you capitalize, Alter?
Tolstoy.
Tolstoy is correct. Now, an important capitalization for Alter. 3 major Russian authors. From this brief notation, or just one work, name each Russian literary giant for 10 points apiece. Number 1, The Grand Inquisitor is a portion of one of his major novels and a magnificently written piece of prose. Name him.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky from the Brothers Karamazov is correct. Number 2, Mother. Comes up. Maxim Gorky. And number 3, Fathers and Sons.
Mark.
No, Ivan Turgenev. You got 10 points though on the board for that one, and you capitalize, so we stay with you and go with John's score to pick a category. John?
Number 10, U.S. history.
The category is U.S. history. Here's the qualifier. Guys, on July 3rd, 1890, this state became our 43rd. Was it Montana, Wyoming, or Idaho?
Idaho.
Idaho is correct, John, now for points, Alter. Now to other events in U.S. history which all occurred on July 3rd in various years of our history for 5 points apiece. Number 1, in 1775, on July 3rd, he took command of the Continental Army in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Who?
Washington.
George Washington. Number 2, in 1863, the Civil War Battle of Gettysburg ended in a blank defeat after the famous charge led by General George Pickett. Was it a Confederate or Union defeat?
Confederate.
That's right. And number 3, and on July 3rd, 1950, the U.S. clashed for the first time with forces in the Korean War.
Chinese.
No, North Korea. North Korea. 10 points though on the board, Alter. Well done. Back over to Beavercreek and Wu Chung Fang. Wu Chung?
8, music.
The category is music. Here's the qualifier. If Handel created Zoroastro, who composed Sorastro? A clue would be that he was an Austrian composer, 1756 to 1791, who was the subject of an acclaimed Broadway play in the 1980s called Amadeus. Name him.
Mozart.
Right, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now for points, Beavercreek, 2 operas which were either written by Mozart or Verdi. You cite the correct one for each of these titles for 5 points apiece. Number 1, Don Carlos.
Mozart.
No, that was Verdi. Number 2, Marriage of Figaro.
Mozart.
That's Mozart. Number 3, Don Giovanni.
Verdi.
Nope, Mozart. Number 4, La Traviata.
Verdi.
Right. And number 5, Idomeneo.
Verdi.
That's Mozart. 10 points though on the board for you, Beavercreek. 10 points. We go back over to Alter and John Powers for the category. John?
Number 16, general knowledge.
The category is general knowledge. Here's the qualifier, guys. When we hear about the comic grandeur of the Seagull, Cherry Orchard, Uncle Vanya, and 3 Sisters, what classical playwright do we think of?
Shakespeare.
That's incorrect. In less than 2 minutes to go before the end of round 1. Can you capitalize, Beavercreek?
Tennessee Williams.
No. Check off. Check off. We stay with you and we Beavercreek and we go with Chip Hardwick to pick a category.
Number 13, general knowledge, please.
13, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. He was the role model for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s nonviolent civil rights movement in the 1960s. This leader was considered an anti-colonial liberator in his time. He, too, was assassinated. Who?
Gandhi.
Gandhi is correct, Rob. Now for points, Beavercreek. Now from a revered leader to 3 honored and critically accepted films in history. I'll name the film, either a silent or talking. You find its director or creator on the screen for 10 points apiece. Number 1, A Star is Born, 1954, starring Judy Garland and James Mason. This director died in 1983.
Wilder.
That's incorrect. Number 2, the film classic Greed.
Murnau.
No, that's incorrect. And number 3, this silent Napoleon was restored and premiered in its new form in 1981.
Wilder.
No, that was Abel Gance. For the film classic Greed, that was Erich von Stroheim. And A Star is Born, George Cukor. We go back to Alter, rather, in Jin Chang. That's your category, Jin.
24 general knowledge.
Number 24, general knowledge, under a minute to go before the end of our first round. This city in Missouri is associated with President Truman and his library as well. But it also sounds like one of our major holidays. Name it. Time's up. Can you capitalize, Beavercreek? Independence, Missouri is correct, Kelly. Now for points. Independent personages, past or present, who were born on Independence Day. 5 points for each you can identify. Number 1, a dancer and songwriter. He wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy and was played in film by James Cagney. No, George M. Cohen. George M. Cohen. Number 2, our 30th president, a Republican, was born on July 4th. Who?
Harding.
Nope, Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge. And number 3, early American songwriter. He wrote Old Folks at Home and I Dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair.
Stephen Foster.
That's right. 5 points on the scoreboard for you, Beavercreek, and that is the end of round 1. The challengers are nipping the defending champions by a few points. We're going to take a commercial break and be back with round 2, so stay with us, won't you? A good game right now, though. Again, the challengers are edging Beavercreek. The score is 65-35. If you've watched the show before, you know that's not a lot of points. That's about a category. So Beavercreek, on your toes now. I know you're going to be wanting to defend your crown from last week. We're glad to have all of you back, as well as your alternate, Jenny McGee. Good luck to you, Beavercreek. Again, the challengers from Kettering, Ohio, Alter High School, and John Powers. Tell me about yourself this week, John.
I'm a member of Key Club, Student Council, and I plan to attend a 4-year liberal arts college.
Super. Good luck to you, John. Jen Chang. Jen?
I'm in Key Club, a member of the National Honor Society, and I have to go into medicine in college.
Explain Key Club, by the way, for those people that might not understand it.
I guess it's like a public service organization kind of thing.
All right, Jen. John Abley. John?
I'm a vice president of the National Honor Society, a member of Key Club, co-editor of our school newspaper, and I'm a participant in honor seminars and dating.
Super. Good luck to you, John. And John Sikora. John?
Yes, I'm in Key Club. I write for our school newspaper. I plan on attending a 4-year liberal arts college.
Make sure you give that school my twist now. Good write-up.
Yeah.
All right. And also your alternates, Adrian Hegman and Angie Powers. We're ready to go now with the start of round 2. Again, a good game, and we left off with Beavercreek. Let's go right back into the thick of things with category selection and Kelly Hammett. Kelly?
Number 21, words.
The category is words. Here's the qualifier, Beavercreek. Think of a boy's name beginning with the letter P. Then you'll have a verb meaning to diminish gradually and come to an end, to give out.
Peter.
Peter is correct. Now, for points, Beavercreek, look at the screen. There you will find the letters V-O-R. By placing various numbers of letters before them, and sometimes after as well, you'll have the words for these definitions for 5 points apiece. Number 1, add 2 letters before V-O-R and 1 after for this word meaning to prance.
Cavort.
Cavort is correct. Number 2, add 3 after V-O-R for a word which means like a whirlpool.
Vortex.
Vortex is correct. 3, a word for ravenous beginning with V-O-R. Voracious. Number 4, 2 letters before for a verb meaning to taste or smell. Savor. And number 5, 5 letters before to get a noun meaning a serious, determined effort. Time's up. Endeavor. Endeavor. So well done, though. You got 20 points on the board, Beavercreek. We go back to Alter and John Abley. John?
Number 27, general knowledge.
The category is general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. This 4-lettered word beginning with T is the name of the Soviet press agency. Name it.
TASS.
TASS is correct, Alter. Now for points. All are free world Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists. Select the correspondent on the screen for 5 points apiece. Number 1, he won the Pulitzer in 1970 and in 1983. He wrote The Price of Power.
Jack Anderson.
No, that's incorrect. Number 2, this syndicated columnist, a kind of protege of Drew Pearson, won for national reporting in 1972.
Jack Anderson.
That's Jack Anderson, right. Number 3, this Boston Globe, Canadian-born political cartoonist, won 2 Pulitzers, one in 1974 and another in 1977.
Hirsch.
That's incorrect. Number 4, this photojournalist of the Associated Press won in 1965 and 1972.
McRoy.
No, that's incorrect. And number 5, and for commentary, this then Washington Star writer and today syndicated columnist won it in 1975.
Hirsch.
No, that's Mary McGrory. The first one, The Price of Power, was Seymour Hirsch. The Boston Globe Canadian Board political cartoonist was Paul Zepp, or Jeff, and the photojournalist was Horst Fass. You got 10 points, though, on that one, Alter, and we go back to Beavercreek and go with Rob Wesley. Rob?
Number 2, history.
Number 2, history. Here's the qualifier. That might be a problem with that, Tom. Did I give them 10 points or 5 points? You got Mary McGrory, and you didn't get Mary McGrory. You only got one of them, right? There's only 5 points on that one, judges. That's only 5 points on that category. My mistake. Back to Beavercreek now, and here's the qualifiers. History is the category. This island nation, Sri Lanka, became an independent republic May 22nd, 1972. Sri Lanka was formerly called what? Time's up. Can you capitalize, Alter? Time's up. Ceylon. 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 We stay with Alter Doe and go with you. Would have been your turn. And John Sikora. John?
Number 4, general knowledge.
Number 4, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. Think of a word meaning having magical influence or power, and another word which is the division of the psyche where our instinctual needs and drives come from, and you'll have the name of a popular comic strip today.
Wizard of Id.
The Wizard of Id is correct, John. Now for points, Alter. Now to some of today's erudite cartoonists who have some social commentary in their work. I'll name the cartoon. You find its creator on the screen for 5 points apiece. Number 1, Funky Winkerbean.
Jeff McNally.
No, that's incorrect. Number 2, The Small Society.
Brickman.
Brickman is correct. Number 3, Shoe.
Johnny Hart.
No, that's incorrect. Number 4, BC.
Johnny Hart.
That's Johnny Hart. And number 5, Drabble.
Kevin Fagan.
Kevin Fagan, good guess. You're right. Funky Winkerbean was Tom Batchuk. The Small Society was Brickman. Shoe was Jeff McNeely. But you got 15 points on the board, Alter. Back to Beavercreek and Wu Chung Fang. Wu Chung?
23, general knowledge.
Number 23, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. This Christopher with Lowe within his name was an English playwright and poet, 1564 to 1593. Who?
Marlowe.
Marlowe is correct, Chip. Now for points. Your score can go higher if you get these low answers for 5 points apiece. Each word, name, or expression contains the letters low, L-O-W. Number 1, to permit or tolerate.
Allow.
Right. 2, work action just short of a strike.
Slow.
Won't accept slow? No, slow down is the answer that we would accept. Number 3, American poet, 1807 to 1882.
Lowry.
Longfellow. Longfellow. Lowry was the answer given, by the way, Dr. Whitson. Is that acceptable? Didn't live in that time period? Okay. Number 4, idiom, meaning person of least importance in a hierarchy.
Low man on totem pole.
Low man on the totem pole. And number 5, red baiting term of this country's McCarthy era.
Fellow traveler.
Fellow traveler is correct. 15 points on the board, by the way. We got the other ones to admit or tolerate. Right. 15 points on the board. Well done for Beavercreek. Back over to Walter and John Powers. John?
General knowledge, number 30.
Number 30, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. His philosophical method was one of systematic doubt and questioning of another to reveal his hidden ignorance or to elicit a clear expression of a truth supposedly to be implicitly known by all rational beings. Was this Socrates, Aristotle, or Pythagoras?
Socrates.
Socrates is correct, John. Now for points, Alter. Greek myth time. Fill in each of the blanks in this passage describing a famous Greek myth for 5 points apiece. Number 1, Orpheus, a poet and musician of Greek myth, almost rescued his wife blank from blank by charming blank and blank with his lyre. Now, number 1, first, Orpheus's wife's name.
Diana.
No, Eurydice. Eurydice. Number 2, almost rescued him from where? Excuse me, almost rescued her from where?
Zeus.
No, Hades. Hades. Nice and loud for me, John. And number 3, by charming whom? Blank and blank.
Cerebrus.
Cerebrus is incorrect. Another guess. Time's up. Pluto and Persephone. Persephone. Back over to Beavercreek and Chip Hardwick. Chip?
19 literature, please.
19 literature. Here's the qualifier, guys. This English poet essayist, 1688 to 1744, had a vision in the Dunciad. Was he James Boswell, Alexander Pope, or Charles Lamb?
Alexander Pope.
Pope is correct. Beavercreek now for points. 3 diverse but acclaimed writers of fiction. 10 points for each you identify. Number 1. Some critics have acclaimed Guard of Honor, the 1949 Pulitzer Prize winner, and the novel The Naked and the Dead as the 2 most important novels to come out of World War II. Name the authors of each for 10 points apiece.
Which one?
James Gould Cozzens and Norman Mailer. Number 2, the Czech writer who died in 1924 wrote many short works such as The Trial, a story of totalitarian justice in relation to its main character, Joseph K. Name the author.
Chekhov.
No, Franz Kafka. Kafka. Less than 2 minutes to go before the end of the game, and it's a close one. Back to Alder and Jen Chang. Jen? Number 3, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. Which written legend comes to mind when you hear the name of author Washington Irving?
Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
The Legend of Sleeping Hollow is correct, Alter. Now for points. Sleeping Hollow Cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts is the final resting place of these 3 early American writers. Name each one for 5 points apiece. Number 1. Here once the embattled farmer stood and fired the shot heard round the world. Name this early American writer who penned these lines.
Longfellow.
No, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Number 2. Among other things he wrote on the duty of civil disobedience. Thoreau is correct. And number 3, and also buried in the cemetery, is the writer of the Scarlet Letter.
Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Arthur Miller was the first answer I heard, and that's incorrect. It was Nathaniel Hawthorne. You got 5 points on the board, Alter. We go back to Beavercreek and Kelly Hammett. Kelly?
Number 22 books.
Number 22 books. Here's the qualifier. Though Ship of Fools was her big 1960s bestseller, she won a Pulitzer in fiction in 1966 for her collected stories. Who?
Alma Wilcox.
That's incorrect. Can you capitalize, Alter?
Dickinson.
No, Catherine Ann Porter. Catherine Ann Porter. We stay with Alter, though, and go with John Aveley for category. John?
29, general knowledge.
Number 29, general knowledge. Here's the qualifier. This 1981 popular television series, Masada, miniseries, starred 2 actors named Peter. One was Peter Strauss. The other Peter has been seen in such 1980s films as My Favorite Year and The Stuntman. Who?
Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole is correct, Alter, now for points. And that's the end of the game. It appears the challengers have edged the defending champions by a few points. We're going to be back to officially tally our points and congratulate both of our fine teams, so don't go away. Just a super game, but the challengers have edged the defending champions the final 90-70. Alder over Beavercreek. Beavercreek, nothing to be ashamed of. A super job, as well as last week. Good luck to you. We'll have you back next year. Good luck to all of you, okay? Alter, you did it. You beat the defending champions. You're going to be challenged now in 2 weeks. We're going to be off next week, which I'll explain in just a minute. But in 2 weeks, Hillel Academy will be your challenger. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll be featuring Wright State basketball here on Dayton 22. So in 2 weeks, Kettering Alter will be challenged once again by Hillel Academy. I hope to see you then. I'm Mike Gallagher. Till then, see you then as schools match wits. Good night.